Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to another live. This time I've learnt from my past mistakes and I'm starting a little bit earlier. So, what we are doing today, for anyone who might be watching this back later, is that Rishikesh is going to be calling in. I hope I'm saying his name correctly, I'll check later. And we will be discussing his suitability for a potential job in web development. That is what he's applying for, a web development position. And we're going to talk about just a typical first interview kind of things: who he is, what he's looking for, where he sees himself, what his experience is, this kind of stuff. And then at the end of that, that's probably going to take 10 to 15 minutes, something along those lines. At the end of that, we'll then stop the fake interview style, and we will then start discussing what he thought about how he presented himself and what I thought about how he presented himself. You'll have to excuse me if I'm a little bit hazy at the moment because I actually just had a massive nap. And I'm just waking up from it now, so I'm still a little hazy myself. So I feel like it's going to be interesting giving him tips on how to present himself when I myself am struggling. But let's try, and we'll see how we go, and hopefully it will all work out. You'll also have to excuse my black background. I haven't yet worked out with the software I'm using how to turn my background into anything else. So at the moment, I am sitting alone in this black box of solitude. So we're just going to hang out here. Actually, we can join the meeting so that we can have the captions on. Let's try that. Oh, so he's actually already here, which is great. That means he's 4 minutes early, which is awesome. So I think we will just get stuck straight in. So here we go. Hello, Rishikesh.
Hello, Anna.
Hi. Am I saying your
Hi.
name correctly?
Yeah, Rishikesh.
Awesome. Okay. Well, welcome. As you know, today I'm your recruiter, and we're going to talk about the position that you applied for, which is a junior web development position. And we're going to see hear a bit more about you, learn a bit more about you and what you're looking for and your experience. So, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I am Rishikesh and I am from India.
Hmm.
To be precise, I am from a state in India called Bihar.
Hmm.
It is in the northern side of India.
Okay.
And I passed my graduation from a college in my home state in mining, Bachelor of Technology, or you can say Bachelor of Science in mining.
Hmm.
And then after, it was a coincidence that I joined a multinational company, Tata Consultancy Services, if you heard about it,
Hmm.
TCS. And then after, due to some family issue, actually I joined in the someone far from my home state. It's like if you are living in California, you join in Miami, in that like scenario.
Uh-huh.
So I worked there for 1 year. Then due to some family issue, I have to left that job.
Hmm.
Then I went back to my home state, and then I joined again mining industry. It is a government company,
Hmm.
and I'm currently posted here as a assistant manager mining. And then in 2018, again I started learning web development. I started from JavaScript,
Hmm.
HTML, CSS, and right now I'm learning React.
Great. So yeah, tell me about your web development learning. Why did you decide to learn web development at all?
Actually, my earlier to when I after college when I joined the TCS Tata Consultancy Services as an associate system engineer. At that point of time, I have no very little knowledge about programming.
Hmm.
It's just a coincidence that I joined that company, but they just took aptitude test and some logical problems on the basis of that they just hired me for starting. They give the training, then they give you some post, not actually developer role, but as a maintenance or testing. Then after that, they will decide where you will go. So in first year, I learned something about Java, little about Java, completed some uh, task there, and then they placed me there for a maintenance work. So in that in the 1 year period during my TCS, I just learned Java. Then after that, during a break of 3 to 4 years, then I started learning web development. So I got the taste of programming there. So I'm also not very comfortable this with this job. So I think, what should I do? Then I started learning programming. So I first started front end development. I think that will suit me, because for backend you have to be more if you are a graduate, or if you have basic learning of computer. So I thought that front end would be more suitable for me, as I have very little knowledge earlier about programming.
Okay, and so what is it about front end development that you find appealing? Why do you want to work with it every day?
Uh, Actually, uh, I choose front end, but what programming fascinates me, that it give me opportunity to do the real problem solving skills. Yeah, that I like. If you do something, you can apply your knowledge, and instantly you can get the result. And from the remotest corner of India, I can learn best material and content from anywhere in the world. And in that scenario, that I get to know you on Twitter or any other people that I can learn from there. And there are lots of content, and you can easily learn it. It is very accessible. You can say that. That's why I choose it. Best part I love it, that is called problem solving. So if you learn something, you have no maths or any skill, you can instantly apply. In the core sector in which I in mining industry, very there are very constraints that what I want to do, I am unable to do. So that's why I want to choose programming. And
So are you
in
looking
that case,
for a position that is based in India? Are you looking to move overseas, or are you looking to work remotely? What kind of logistical situation are you looking for?
for logistical situation, if opportunity is there, I can go anywhere. Right now, I am not that kind of issue right now. If I get that opportunity, either from remotely or any part of India, I think you know about Bangalore or Mumbai, and then there is IT hub of India. And also, if I get opportunity in overseas, I can do it.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, and so you mentioned problem solving. Would you say that you said you like that part of it? Do you think that's a core skill of yours? Do you think that's a strength of yours?
Strength, yeah. As a strength part in programming, one thing I more like, but if I see anything, I always want to curious how it is happening. I always look for the basics, and I try to solve it myself. If it get 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours, and that part I should solve by myself.
Cool. And so what would you say are then, like maybe one of your weaknesses? What's something that you're trying to work on or to get better on?
Weaknesses. Um, I have some anxiety issues, and also I want to work on my communication skills. These are the two parts I'm working on.
Okay, and what are you doing to work on those?
This is the one of the example for improving my communication skill, that I was ready to join this interview session so that I can assess my how I communicate with other people in this interview scenario. And for anxiety issues, I'm learning study some books, and how to not get bothered about the situation, and I should listen to myself, and and think rationally how should I react and not overreact to any situations.
Okay.
And in on these things I'm working on.
Okay, lovely. And so if you were to have, I suppose, a dream job for you, what would it look like in development? What kind of job would you love to do? If you like, so, like not even right now, like even if we think in the future, like 3, 5 years when you have more experience, like what would you see as the
Uh,
ideal?
uh, I am always fascinated about machine learning and AI. I am thinking that after 4 5 years, if I have some basics improved and I know how actually computer works, then along with my mathematics skills, as I hope that I can ace in these fields, machine learning and AI. And these thing always fascinates me. But for getting started, I choose to start with front end. And actually, I'm learning how actually things are working. I always prefer to learn about basic of JavaScript, how it is work from the basics, not just downloading some library and using it. And along with that, problem solving. I hear in which company I'm working, I'm also seeing that lots of there is automation required. So I've also prepared some program so that like a person tracker, if anyone get there is a scenario here that in 3 years everybody gets periodic medical examination. So I've made a little app that if a person get periodic medical examination after 3 years, so I schedule it and track it through. I've made a React project and in that so that we can track that. So I want to whatever I am learning, I am trying to implement it so it can help the organization to grow. Because there are lots of apps and technology available, but lots of companies they are not using it really. So whatever I am gaining information or knowledge in this field, so I can apply somewhere there. And that is the part of programming, is that you can solve a day-to-day life problems with the skills or technology that is available. You only need to know what is available and you can use it for your organization or in the company which you are working.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Rishikesh, and my company will give you a call later.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
All right, so hi, as me. um, so that was really nice. That was a really nice chat. I really liked that. What? How do you feel about our little conversation we just had?
Uh, yeah, I feel great. Most part of that I can express that the most beautiful part was that I was unable to express and why I am learning and how my learning can improve the situation of any organization in which I am working. So it is worth it. It's just not that you are learning and just you are, it is not getting used. So whatever I learning, it should be used somewhere, so that I can give it to the back to community or an organization or where I live.
Yeah, I think what I really liked is actually the second half of our conversation. I think was the strongest. I think the early part you were still a little maybe a bit nervous or you you weren't sure what you were going to say and so it was a little bit shaky at the beginning, but I've got so I was taking some notes and had a lot of ticks as we went, like as we got like later and later in the conversation. I was ticking a lot more, which was really good. So I think the thing that I liked the most was actually the one of the last things you did, which was where I asked you kind of where you wanted to go, and you mentioned AI, and then you started bringing in the idea of your mathematical skills helping in that sense, and then you mentioned the app that you had created as a project. It was clear to me that you really wanted to talk about this app and you were like looking for an opportunity to talk about it.
Because I just made it recently.
Yeah, but it was great. It's good because that's actually what you need to do. And a lot of the time people don't realize this, that when you go into a conversation like this, I should look at the camera. When you go into a conversation like this, you should be looking for opportunities to say the things you want to say, right? You can't let the other person control the conversation too much or get you to say things that you don't necessarily want to say. You have to say, okay, I know that I want to talk about this app that I made. I know I want to mention the mathematical skills that I gained from my mining engineering degree. Is that right? Is it mining engineering or is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. From
Yes.
mining engineering degree, I know that I want to mention those things. Yeah. And so I need to find a way to answer questions like that, right? And that's what you were doing towards the end of our conversation. So I think when it came to actually talking about programming and the future and these kinds of things, you were very confident and you were giving lots of really good answers. And you also were very good. You started doing it. I kind of stopped you a little early, but you were starting to kind of also draw in what you would bring the company. And this is another thing that a lot of people miss, right? That the whole idea of this, from a recruiter's perspective, right? The recruiter wants to fill a job, right? That's their job. They have a role they want to
Yeah.
fill. They don't like it sucks to say, but a lot of the time they don't really care that much about your personal life. Yeah, they just want to know, they want to know, can you do this job and will you bring value to a company? So
Yes.
so when you were at the end, you were like, oh yeah, and so I want to use this to help a company grow. That was like ding ding ding, like awesome. Because that's what they want to hear, that you're thinking about what you can offer. You're not just looking inwards, right? You're also looking outwards. So that was really good. So now that I've given you lots of compliments, let's talk about what I didn't like. All right. I thought you did really well, so that was great. But I definitely think you need to work on your opening explanation of who you are and what you're about, because like I said, halfway through to the end, I got a lot of stuff out of you that I would have wanted to hear at the beginning. Yeah. So
Yes.
for example, the one major thing that I noticed you doing, and this is a tendency for a lot of people, including myself, I did this too, is you were actually jumping around on your timeline. So you're saying, okay, I did this, and then I did this, and then I did this, and then I did this, and the recruiters not like they don't. I mean, some of them are really do care about timelines, but they've got your resume for that, right? They've got your CV. They can see on a CV what date you did what. What they want to know is why you're applying for this job. How did you get to the point? Like, what's the journey? What's the story? Yeah, they're looking for almost like a novel, right? They know the ending already, which is you applying for this job, but they want to know, like, how did they get to this point in the story? So I would say, before we talk a little more, that, for example, you didn't mention Java at all in your about section at the beginning. Why?
Because I just forget it. I am not really in that Java. That's why I'm not missing Java, because it was 3 or 4 years back. Just starting initial training, I get 2 or 3 months. I just learned Java, and then after just left it. So that's why I was hesitant in mentioning Java.
Yeah, right. But I know, I get it. Okay, I get it. That makes sense. But at the same time, you have to remember the goal here is to convince someone that you're a programmer, not to tell them the reasons you're not a programmer. Okay, so so I would say, what you can say, for example, there's nothing like, you don't lie, never ever lie, of course, but
Yeah.
What you should say is something along the lines of, I learnt Java in a previous position and I liked the problem solving aspect of it, and I found I could learn the language fine, but in the end, I wasn't interested in back end, for example, or something like that, or the company decided to move me into, what was it? Was it maintenance? Was that it? You know,
Yeah.
yeah, the company decided that they needed more people in maintenance, so I was asked to move to that department instead, or something like that. But you need to kind of make it sound like yeah, okay, I knew programming existed, I could do it, there was no problem in terms of my ability to do it, right?
Yes.
It just wasn't the right time or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
got
And then I think, what was the other thing? The mining engineering. So I would definitely, there are two big things that you can use there. All right. The first, as we mentioned, is the fact that engineering, excuse me, engineering itself, mining engineering even, has a lot of parallels to software engineering, in terms of problem solving aspects, in terms of logical
it.
thinking, and as you mentioned, in terms of mathematics as well.
Mathematics.
And you can use those things to kind of sell your abilities as a programmer, right? You can say, oh, like, you know, I learned mining engineering and I've been working in the mining sector for 2 years. I've really loved how my engineering degree has given me problem solving and mathematical skills that make me a better programmer now. You know, it's just like you always tie it back, make that
Mm-hmm.
connection. Yeah. Um, and I think, what was the other thing I wanted to do? Oh, yes. The other thing is you've been working on, let me just have a look at your CV here. It was assistant manager. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's what I've got here. Yeah, great. So as an assistant manager, that means that you also have leadership skills. Now, I don't
Yeah.
know if you know these things, but in software, a lot of people do not have leadership skills. A lot of people are very technically good, right? They're amazing programmers, but they don't know how to talk to people. They don't know how to manage people. They don't know how to structure a project, for example, maybe, you know, or to think in terms of in business terms. These are also
Business
things
stuff.
that are skills, and they are often termed soft skills, but I hate the term soft skills. But they are skills that are needed, and they help you stand out. They make you different, right? So I would also say something like that. I've worked as an assistant manager in this mining company. It made sense after my mining degree that I would go into this direction. This has taught me a lot of skills to do with project management, to manage people, to work in a team, which I think would really help me in a position on a software engineering team or on a web engineering team or whatever you want to, however you say it. It's up to you, but that's the idea. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, so for you, I feel like the big thing for you generally is actually just drawing those connections, just making it much clearer. So rather than saying, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this, and assuming that the other person is going to go, oh, yeah, well, that makes sense, you have to make it really obvious to them. Something that I did actually, not a lot of, I don't often talk about it, but one of my jobs that I had as an opera singer was actually singing for kids, right? Like little kids. And one of the great things about doing that is that you learn how to tell a story at a very basic level, right? You learn, oh, you know, and here's this part, and then this happened, and you know, you learn how to get people interested in the story you're telling. I would say when you are thinking about this, tell us about yourself, or why are you here today, or why did you apply for this job, or any of those questions, think about it like you're talking to a 7 or an 8-year old. Yeah. It's like try to make those connections really clear. Well, I did engineering. As you know, engineering has a lot of mathematics and logical thinking and problem solving. I find that I use those skills now to do X, Y, Z. You just make it super obvious, like dumb it right down. You can always make it sound more fluent and sensible later, but I would say in the early stages when you're just planning it, like just try to make it really simple.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it completely makes sense. You need to present a story so that the person in front of you can easily understand from the start. You can't just say that I did this, I did this, I did this. You have to connect the dots between every steps, whatever you did in the past, and so that you can look that you were really prepared for this uh, opportunity, whatever it is.
Exactly. Connect the dots. That's a really good way of putting it. That's a really good way of putting it. So that was the main thing. I think that if you did that, that would be excellent. And then I think you'd be good. I wanted to talk a little bit about. Let me have a look here if I have something else. Oh yeah, transferable skills. Yes. The same thing kind of happened when I asked why web development. You kind of again got on this timeline thing where where you were jumping around between different times. I would keep it much simpler. Like it can just be one sentence, two sentences. I think I've found that I learn front end web development really well. It works for my brain, and I also love being able to see on a screen the things that I make.
Yeah,
You know,
that can be a great answer. You can see it what you are making.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So you can just say so, like find one or two things that you love about front end and just keep it simple. One sentence, two sentences. They don't need a lot there, really. Um, I would say your answer about your weaknesses was really good, but don't you kind of forced me to ask you what you were doing about them. The best way to structure an answer about weaknesses. This is my weakness. I know that it has this effect or it's caused by this thing, and this is what I'm doing now to solve it. Yeah. So you say, this is the weakness, this is why, or the effect it has, and this is what I'm doing to solve it. In your case, you basically just told me what the problem was, and you left me kind of being like, oh, that sucks. So when I asked you what you're doing to solve it, you gave a very good answer. But don't force them to ask. Other than that, I'd say that's most of what I had to say. Was there anything you felt very uncomfortable with in the conversation, or anything that you feel like you struggle with in interviews that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah. As you said that earlier, that in starting,
Mm,
in presenting my story, why I'm going to become a programmer,
yeah.
that part, it was difficult for me. But after listening to you, you said that connecting the dots, present a story that the person in front of you can easily understand, like you are explaining it to the 7-year kid, and that part was very nice. The person in front of you, they want to get a whole story in a
Mm-hmm,
easy way so that he can understand why you are here.
mm-hmm,
They are not interested in what you used to do, and one of the most part you said was the validation. What validation you can
mm,
provide? So I, in next time I would try to mix these things so that I can easily introduce myself in a way that a person can understand the recruiter.
mm. Exactly. And I think just having a few dot points and just practicing them can make all the difference. Keep it short and simple. Don't get caught up on
Yeah.
details. Yeah. Um, and what was I going to say? There was something you said in there that was really interesting. Oh yeah, you said they don't really like care. It's not that they don't care. It's that you have to trust that your personality is going to come across anyway. Because I got really good vibes from you. I know nothing about you. I don't know. like I only know like what you've sent me on your CV and like this short conversation we've had, but I can already tell that you would be someone who would be nice to work with. And that is something that is really important for people to get from you. They will get that. You have to trust that they will get that, right? You don't need to they don't need to know your whole life story to get that feeling from you because you are very lucky in that you have a very natural charm. Not a lot of people have natural charm and you have it. So you're very lucky.
Thank you, ma'am. That's a great compliment.
So
I'm
yeah.
not expecting that.
But yes, I don't think you have to feel nervous. Of course you will, everyone does. But I think as long as you can just make that first section shorter and more obvious, I think the rest will be fine. I do want to say though that you need to work on your CV. I'm showing the CV up on the screen here, if you don't mind, and it needs work.
Yeah, yeah, I just prepared in 30 minutes. Actually, I had a CV in another laptop. It was it got crashed. I was unable to fetch it. So that's why I make it CV in 30 minutes. I saw that you require a CV for the interview. So I just made it in 30 40
Okay,
minutes.
all right, cool. All right. That's
Actually,
good. That
right
makes
now,
me feel a lot better.
actually, I'm not applying right now. I'm not applying for any job. That's why I haven't fine tune my CV.
Sure.
In future, I will do it, and that's certainly a point in
Okay,
itself.
good. I'm glad you said that. Because yeah, this is obviously not a CV masterclass or anything like that. But it's good that you know that, and I'm sure that when it comes to it, you'll put something a bit more detailed together. Yeah. All right, great. Well, Rishikesh, thank you so much for being so brave and volunteering to be on my channel and to go through this. I know that it's not easy, and you did a great job.
No, it was a very nice experience to me. Earlier, I was hesitant. I'm not ready for interview. I just learning. I'm connecting. Just to say that connecting the dots. I am
Mm,
learning many things. I planned it after some months, but
mm.
when I saw that you are doing these mock interviews, I saw that why can't I so give it a try? And
Yeah.
from this interview, I get good insight what is my weaknesses and how to basically the main point is how to present a story in a short and crisp way
Mm.
so that a person in front of you can understand it. And that was a great part. You have mentioned some very great points, and that I will work on these points. And thanks for also your compliments. And it was a nice.
Thank you, Rishikesh, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Or
Yeah,
evening, I
yeah,
suppose it is there, right? Night.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye. See.
Okay, so let's see if I can bring my camera back up. There I am. Okay, so let's just. This must look very funny for you guys, but there we are. All right, that will do. So thank you everyone for watching. That was such a lovely chat with Rishikesh, and I hope to see you next time. Next time is not that far away because we are actually going to be talking tonight to Nelly, and she's in the States, so we'll be switching time zones. We just had Rishikesh, who's a few time zones ahead of me here in Germany, and now we'll talk to Nelly, who's a few time zones behind me in the US, and we'll be talking to her about her application as well. And there is more to come. So do keep tuning in. Let me know what you find useful, what you don't find useful, what could be better. What is, I guess, not what could be worse. We don't want to know what could be worse. But that's all from me. Thank you so much. And I will see you next time. Bye.